All right. And just so we're all on the same page, this is low intensity strength training today, starting at noon. And I'm Laura, not Ellie, in case you noticed that I'm not Ellie. In the email it mentioned that that Ellie sent out yesterday morning. I will be teaching the Wednesday low intensity strength training class for the next few weeks. So I hope you can join me and I hope you enjoy the class. I love feedback, so let Ellie know how I'm doing or if I can improve. Always appreciate what my students have to say because you guys are the reason I'm here. So, all right, make sure you got your weights. If you, I recommend having water nearby. If you don't have water, grab water in this last minute or so before we get started. And I grabbed 2 sets of hand weights. I have a set of 5 pounds and a set of 7.5 pounds. But what weight you use will be dependent on your strength, and maybe we're all coming back from the holiday slog, so maybe your weights are lower than you might use normally, and that's okay. We're here and we're gonna move together, so that's most of the battle. All right, it's cold in here, but it's time to start, so I'm gonna take my jacket off. And I just need to pin myself here and then we'll get started. All right, everyone. We're gonna start out on knees and hands on the floor for our warm-up. And again, my name's Laura. We're doing low intensity strength training today for the next 30 minutes. So we're gonna come down to the floor here. I'll get my timer set. And you'll be on knees and hands to start, like I said. All right, we're gonna start by rocking back hips to heels here. I don't want your elbows completely locked out. Give a little bit of bend to the elbows. Gentle warm up for the shoulders and the hips. You can pause at the back if that feels good. You don't have to go super far back if the knees don't like it. All right, let's go into a little bit of cat-cow. So the cat happens here, this angry Halloween cat, and the cow happens when we hollow out the back. Just going your pace here, dropping the head, lifting the spine toward the ceiling, and then dropping the spine, lifting the head. Nice and slow, no need to torque the neck here. And moving into bird dog. So I'm gonna reach out with my opposite hand, opposite leg. I don't care how high you get here. What I'm concerned about is warming up your core and maintaining the integrity of your spine as we reach. Opposite hand, opposite leg. Nice. Couple more here, one on each side. And then we're gonna go onto our back for a few glute bridges, hip bridges, whatever you like to call them. Feet are gonna be flat on the floor. Put something under your head if that feels more comfortable for you. And then push the heels, lift the hips toward the ceiling. We want this motion to be coming from the glutes and the hamstrings, not the low back here. So if you feel any compression or pain in the low back, do just a little smaller lift to keep the work where we want it in the butt and the back of the legs. Couple more. And then we'll go into standing. Last one, stand up. All right, we're gonna warm up the hips here. I'm gonna have you cross your left leg over your right leg. And then we're gonna lift the leg, bring it around, and bring that knee back behind the other and then right next to it. So from the side view, back with the knee, around, and then across. One more time on this side. We're working our full hip range of motion here. And back down and across. Switch sides. Start with that right foot crossing over the left. Pick the knee up and bring it outside the body. Bring it back. That knee ends up next to the other one. Reach back, forward and around, foot across. So you can use your chair here or the wall. So if balance is an issue, that's okay. Hold on to something to help with that. All right, that was our hip range of motion. We're gonna work through our full shoulder range of motion. So start with your hand at your side. You're gonna use your left arm first. Reach the left arm back behind you, up and around and across the chest. And then follow that pattern back, up and around, back behind. It ends up at your side. One more time. Reaching back and around and then across the chest. So trying to find that full expression of your shoulder range of motion. All right, let's go to the other side. Reaching back, around, and across. And then return that same pattern. Reach back, around, and then across. Warming up these big ball and socket joints. All right, from here, we're gonna go into a plank walk out here. So I'm at the edge of my mat. I'm gonna walk out into a plank and step forward with my right foot. Back knee goes down, get a little stretch here. Step back into the plank, walk the hands, back again, stand up. Down again, hands walk out. Step forward with the left foot this time, right knee down. If it doesn't want to go down, that's okay. We're stretching out the front of the hip. Just work into the range that is comfortable for you. We're gonna do one more time each side. We're gonna walk out into that plank, step forward with the left or the right, drop the left knee down, and then lift, step back. You gotta get that one, balance it out one more time on the other side. Walk out into the plank one more time. Step forward with the left, drop the right knee, hold for a moment, and then lift and step back. And into standing position once again. All right, we're gonna go, we have two major work groups of exercises today. The first block of exercises is 3 exercises. We're going to do a reverse lunge with a chop. So I'll demo these. Grab a drink of water if you need to and watch. So I'll demo before we get into it. You'll step back into a lunge, go as low as is comfortable, and then you'll chop down to the back leg's hip. And then come up, step back, chop to the back leg. All right. The next one that we'll do is a chest press with a skull crusher. So this will be down on the floor. We'll do a chest press and then bring the weights down like it's going to crush your skull and back up. So chest press to a skull crusher. Please don't crush your skulls today. And back down. That's our second exercise in this grouping. And the final one is a crab with a toe touch. So we'll be down on the floor, and you can do this one either with your hips on the ground, like this, or you can elevate the hips and touch. If your shoulders, or you don't want to be on one hand back here, you can just lift one or the other. All right, we're going to do each of these exercises for 1 minute, 3 times through each one. We'll have about 10 seconds of transition between each one. Hope you've got your water break done. Hope you've got your weights. And we're getting started. So let's go to that reverse lunge. Step back into that lunge. Chop down to the back hip. Forward. So we're getting lower body here, core. As you chop down, we want to make sure that the pelvis still points forward. So I'm not twisting my whole pelvis to the side. That'll protect your low back a little bit. So it doesn't have to be a huge range of motion. Keep working here. We have about 19 seconds left. If your lunge is smaller than mine, that's okay. You're still doing the work. But if you need to, remember to challenge yourself. 5 seconds left here on this one. Okay, you can hear those beeps. It's time. We're going to transition to the floor. So grab the hand weights that you need for your chest press. And go. Press up, keeping that upper arm vertical as you bring the weights toward your head. So up, upper arm stays vertical as the elbow bends. Again, not about speed here, building strength, muscular endurance with these longer minutes here. If you want to connect your breath here, you can exhale on the press, inhale on the tricep, and then exhale as you go up again. So exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. Almost there. All right, you can stay down on the ground, set your weights to the side, crab toe touches, whatever variation you're comfortable with here. I'll give you another variation, I can touch my knees here if going all the way for the toes is too much. And again, you can have the hips down if you'd like to add in reaching across the body, but it's too much with the hips up. Find the variation that works for you. For many people on this one, the limiting factor is the shoulders. So listen to your body. Don't try to force anything that's really uncomfortable here. If it's your wrists, here where you're feeling it in the wrist, this isn't a position where we put a lot of weight into the wrist a lot. So if it's the wrist, you can still do the same thing. Just add in a nice big reach. Almost there. All right, grab your weight again, back up for the reverse lunge with the chop. All right, here we go. We made it through one round. Nice work. Starting off this second round of 3 of these 3 exercises. Keep it up. A lot of times on lunges, people tell me that their knees bother them. One thing that you can do from the front view here, if you're looking at my knees, is make sure that the knee doesn't fall in as you stand up. That puts a lot of pressure on the structure of the knee. So make sure that your knee stays pointed straight ahead as you move through in and out of this lunge. Almost there. Couple more seconds. All right, weight down if you need to switch weights, but we're going to the floor for the presses. All right, exhale to press up. Inhale for the skull crusher. Exhale, straight arm again. Inhale down. Always remembering to breathe as we're working on our strength exercises. We want that body and those muscle tissues to be getting the oxygen they need to do this work. And if your breath, if you feel like, oh, my exhale and inhale aren't like Laura's right now, don't worry, as long as you're breathing. As long as you're not holding your breath. It's great. You might be feeling these triceps now. If you're tired, You can set the weight aside and just do it with no weight. All right. We've got our crab toe touches. Almost done with the second round. And up if you're going up. If you're doing the toe touches with the hips elevated or touching the knee, whatever version you're doing, I want to remind you that we want to be nice and controlled. So if you find yourself throwing yourself up and dropping back down, can you go slower? Can you control that motion instead of using momentum? You can always drop down to a couple low if you'd like. And to get that core involved, you can put less pressure on the hands too. So we're still working the core. That'll give you less shoulder and wrist work as well. Always variations here. All right, last time through, grab your weight again for the reverse lunge with the chop. All right, step back, chop to the back hip. Trying not to rotate the pelvis as you reach back and down. Another trick I love to protect the knee is to make sure the knee stays above the ankle joint. If the knee starts to drift forward like this, the knee's way in front, that puts a lot of pressure on the knee. So if you can keep that shin vertical, knee stacked over the ankle, you can apply that to almost any leg exercise, lunge variation you do to put less strain on your knees. It's gonna work different parts of your legs there. All right, weights again, down to the floor for the press and skull crusher. No more lunges though. Nice work. Up, lower toward the head, and bring it down to the floor. In both the chest press and the skull crusher, we're working the triceps, the back of the arm. Remember to breathe, focus on the work in the back of the arm and the chest. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. Great work. The nice thing about the last round is that you know when you're done with it, you don't have to do the exercise again. So if you're fatiguing, try and push through, you're almost there. You always set the weight down. Nice. All right, last round of crab toe touches. Again, shoulders and wrists are the things that usually don't want to cooperate toward the end. So you can set the hips down, put a little less pressure on the hands, which will work the shoulders a little bit less, but you still get the core work here because you're leaned back just a little bit and you're twisting to reach either the knee or the toe. I've given up on the toe. I'm just touching the laces on my shoe here. You got this. If you want to finish with if you were sitting on the ground like me and you want to finish stronger, you can. If you need to adjust in any way in these last 15 seconds, do it. You've got this, almost there. All right, nice job. Grab a drink. That was block one. We have a second block to go through. While you're grabbing a drink, I will demo those exercises. Our first exercise is a plie squat with a bicep curl. So if you've got your water and you're checking out the form here, plie squat with the bicep curl. The next exercise, which I'll be using my lighter weight for, is an arabesque. So lots of little ballet things here. An arabesque. I'm on one leg. This is where I'm using my balance help. And then up, and then press. So the weight is in the opposite hand of the leg that I'm balancing on, and press. We'll make sure to get both sides for that one. And then the final one is a plank pull through. So you'll use your weight again. You'll be in a plank position, whichever plank you have access to. This one, you could even do a box plank. And you're going to slide the weight through, back and forth. From the front view, that looks like this. Slide, pulling the weight through, back and forth. You might have noticed I had wider feet back there for a little bit more stability as I switch onto one hand. All right, hope you got your drink. Hope you're ready to go. I'm gonna set this timer and we're gonna start again with that 2 weights plie squat with a bicep curl. All right, let's do it. From that wide stance, toes pointed out. As you lower, the dumbbells come up. As you lower into that plie squat, dumbbells up. This plie squat works into the inner thighs a little bit more than a normal squat. And who can resist a little extra upper body work? I like to time my breath with the squat. So it's an inhale down, exhale up. 15 seconds, you got this. Nice work. We did the triceps in the first work set. Now we got the biceps. Good. All right. Grab your weight for the arabesque with the overhead press. I'm going to start standing on my left leg, weights in my right hand, and then press up. So working that stance leg, and then the opposite shoulder. I'll let you know when we're halfway through and switch sides. If you need that help with balance, do so. Switch sides. Now I'm on my right leg, weights in my left hand. It doesn't matter how far the back leg goes up here, as much as working that stance leg. If you lose your balance, it's okay. Almost there. And time. All right. Our final one here is a plank pull throughs. Grab your weight. Pull it through. I have a nice wide stance so that my base of support is wide enough when I go to one hand. If being in the plank position is too much weight for the shoulders, come down the knees. You're still working your core. You're still working your shoulder muscles. Find that variation that works for you. Just over halfway through. You can even come into a box version and pull the weight through. There's no wrong way to go about this unless it's painful. You really, really hurt here. Other than that muscle fatigue, you can back off if you need to. All right, let's go back to the beginning. Grab your weights. For the plie squats, wide feet. Curl as we go down into the squat. Show you from the side view as well. You might notice here that just like on that lunge, I'm keeping my shin pretty vertical here to decrease the stress on my knee joint. Still working my inner thighs, getting the backs of the legs and the glutes halfway there. If at any point, as we're working here, you need water, get it. Take breaks if you need to. Listen to the body. You know when to push yourself and when to let off. Nice work. All right. We are into that Arabesque. All right, I'm going to start on my left leg, weights in my right. I'm going to give you a variation here in case the balance is tough. I'm just putting the ball of my foot down on the right foot. So I'm still doing most of the work here in the left leg, but I've taken a little bit of the balance component out of it. If you feel like you're ready for it, you can take the leg back, then come forward. Switch sides. All right. I'm on my right leg, holding the weight with my left hand. Can you send those hips straight back behind you? Trying not to let them swivel. It's a lot of work. We got a lot of core here. Leg stabilizing. All right, I got that last press in. Now we go to our plank pull through again. I know I'm going to start from my knees this time. Funny how if we had done this group of 3 exercises first, it probably would have stayed in plank. But I know that this second work block always gets me. All right. Keep working here. There's a little bit of core rotation, core stability. A lot of shoulder strength to hold in this position. Working the back muscles and the upper back to pull it through the shoulders. 15 seconds left. Try and keep the face relaxed. Keep breathing. No matter what you do here, keep breathing. Breath holding can spike our blood pressure and make us a little lightheaded. All right, back to those plie squats last time through. It's an inhale to go down into the squat, exhale to come up. You're doing great. Hopefully, you're feeling strong still as we approach this last round on the second work set. Halfway there on this exercise, well over halfway through the workout. You're there, you can see the finish line. One more time through this group of exercises. 10 seconds left here. Great job. And there's the buzzer. All right, last time with the plie squats with the overhead press. I'm gonna be by my chair this time. Last round, getting a little fatigued. I'm on my left leg, using my right arm. Reaching back with the right leg, or keeping it on the floor if you need that little extra balance if you're not close to a wall or a counter. Nice job. Keep that breath. Inhale on the back. Exhale as you come up and press. You've got this. Switch sides. Second half here. You're doing great. You're still here. You're still working. Modify as needed. If the shoulder's getting tired, really fatigued, go body weight or drop down to a lighter object. So close. All right, time. Last exercise here. The pull through. Find your happy plank. Maybe your happy place. Would this workout, this last round here, be easier if you were doing it on a beach? Maybe that's just the ringing in my ears. For being at the end of a workout, I can hear the ocean. Keep working here. Just over halfway. This is your last exercise. Keep that elbow from locking out. Sometimes we lock it out when we're fatigued toward the end. Keep a slight bend in it to keep working the shoulder and arm muscles. 15 seconds here. Core engaged, still breathing. You haven't been holding your breath, right? Nice work. We made it through. All right, now it's time for our stretch. So you can set your weights aside. Grab a drink. I know I am. All right, we're going to start standing, shake out a little bit. I'm just going to tap my feet side to side, roll my shoulders back, bring them forward. Trying to get that heart rate down here. Cool downs are so important. All of the blood was kind of rushing to our muscles there during that workout. So now we want to return back to our normal patterns, our normal breathing, normal blood flow. All right, we're going to do a little play on the plie squat here. We're going to go back. You can put your arms here if it's comfortable, or you can be up here a little bit higher. But either way, you're just going to twist and reach up. We're going to do some gentle movement here before we sit down. We don't want to just stop completely all of a sudden. Hopefully your breath is coming down. If being in the squat after all that is too much, just twist and reach back from a standing position. Nice job. And then we're going to go back onto the floor for a quad stretch. You can use your chair here if you need it for balance. We're going to go into a lunge position, but don't worry, we're not going to stand up from here. We're going to stretch the quad. So I'm going to have you tilt your pelvis under. So you're tucking the bottom of your pelvis forward, and you might already feel a stretch in the front of the hip or the quad. A lot of us have to sit a lot. So this is a really nice counter balance to that sitting. And you can slide the hip forward a little bit the whole torso forward a little bit if you'd like. Or you can just stick with that tucking, and you can play with tucking and untucking if that feels good for you. A little variation on our quad stretch. Let's switch sides. So we want to start with the lower leg vertical, not already pre-stretched. Tuck the tailbone under. If you already got a pretty good stretch there, you can stay there, play with the tucking, or you can take that tucked pelvis and move it forward as a unit with the torso above it. Nice job. Make sure you're breathing here. Hopefully that breath is slowing down a little bit. Pulse going down, blood pressure going down. All right, come out of that. Now we can sit. If you need to, if you're sitting on the floor, you could also sit on a chair, on the edge of a chair for this one. You're just gonna cross the leg over, bring it in. You could also sit on like a pile of pillows or a bench on this one if you don't feel comfortable sitting directly on the floor. Or drawing the leg in. You can add a little twist toward that leg that you drew in if you'd like. Check in with your breath. We just intentionally stress the body and the nervous system and at the same time. So by checking in with our breath, we bring the body back down into a more neutral state. I switched sides. I drew my left leg in now. Likely you'll feel a stretch in the back of the leg, maybe into the hip. Some people feel this into their low backs as well. Depends on where you're tight. You can add the twist in if you'd like. Check in with the breath again. If you're returning to exercising after the holiday season, it's normal for your recovery time to be a little bit longer if you haven't been training. So that's one thing you can look out for as you start training more in the new year, or if at any time of year, if you're watching this later, you can start tracking your recovery time after a workout as well. And if it's faster, then your fitness is improving. All right, my legs are wide here, however wide as you're comfortable. You can put your elbow just above the knee or the hand on the calf, but whichever you choose, you're pressing into the side of that leg, and then you're gonna reach over. This is a really nice stretch for the muscles in the low back. And the pressing actually allows you to get a deeper stretch. So you can play with that. If you take the stretch away, you might notice the stretch feels different as opposed to if you press. You can breathe into that open side of the body and switch sides. So hand or elbow, whichever is accessible to you today, and press into it. Remember to breathe as we stretch the tissues of the low back and the side of the body. And come back upright. Sit however you're comfortable. I'm gonna go cross-legged here and then draw the arm across the body. Try to keep the shoulders down away from the ears. So we stretch out the shoulder joint. And switch sides. Nice deep breaths. And last but not least, you're going to intertwine your fingers behind you, press the palms down toward the floor, lift the sternum, gently lift the head toward the ceiling. We're going to get a nice chest stretch here and front of the shoulder stretch. If you're feeling it in the low back, restart and let the motion come more from the upper back as opposed to the lower back. All right, you made it through. Great job, everyone. I hope you enjoyed today's low intensity strength training. I'm Laura. If you have any feedback, you can always let us know at the fitness center. I hope you enjoyed it.